Solar manufacturers get some unwelcome news from Germany. The government will further cut the feed-in tariff that has subsidized expansion of solar over the last half dozen years. This is on top of a cut already made on January 1st. Our executive editor, Margaret Ryan, is here with more. Not good news for this industry in Germany.
No, it isn't, Susan. Germany's solar industry is a world leader, and U.S. advocates often say it's because of the country's feed-in tariff. Utilities must pay a set price for power generated by solar installations on rooftops or on the ground. The tariff was cut on January 1st from about 69 U.S. cents a kilowatt hour to 62 cents. But as Germany struggles with the recession, the government says solar prices are sliding, and so can the tariff. Starting April 15th, it will cut the tariff another 15%, down to about 53 cents a kilowatt hour. Now, for comparison, coal and nuclear power cost about 14 cents. Solar company stocks have been dropping on the rumors of the cut, and solar advocates argue the only beneficiary will be China's solar industry, as Germany's is strangled in its cradle. But it is just the latest bad news. France last week slashed its feed-in tariff by 24%. That's from 80 cents down to 61 cents.
So did the German industry see this second cut coming?
Yes, they did. They've been actually in negotiations with the government. They were trying to blunt this. They were trying to bring the amount of the cut down. They'd even made offers that were less than what's going to happen here. But I think they had three things that I can see working against them. First of all, the tariff was criticized by conservatives as needlessly generous, especially in the recession. In fact, the recession has caused a worldwide surplus in solar panels and solar materials, and so the prices have in fact buying those have come way down, and in a way they were a victim of their own success with this subsidy. The industry, for instance, last year predicted they'd install about 700 megawatts of panel. They really installed about 3,000 megawatts, and they weren't very forthcoming about it, according to news reports. The news kind of seeped out. And Der Spiegel recently, the news magazine there, recently reported the cumulative subsidies are now costing German ratepayers $15 billion a year for solar alone.
So how does this change with this tariff cut?
Well, it's only changing the trend line because most of this cost is locked in for years. The tariff started out in 2004 at about 9 times the cost of your baseload nuclear or coal power, and it's been slowly reduced each year. But the utilities have to pay the tariff that's effective the year they accept your installation for 20 years. It's all locked in. So especially in the last 6 months, where the new, more conservative government was struggling with recession spending, there has been a rush, as the solar industry saw what was coming, to install these cheaper panels you could get last year and lock in that high tariff. I've even seen in the financial press over there terms like obscene subsidy and the golden goose.
Oh, wow. So what is the expected impact on the industry?
It's somewhat unclear now. It definitely will affect decisions about whether to build more manufacturing capacity in Germany. That was already in question because of Chinese competition. Spain cut its solar subsidy in 2008. It sent the industry there into an absolute tailspin. About 2/3 of the expected installations that year were not made. But that was then. It was a boom year. There was someplace else to go. Now, in the middle of the recession, it's really not so clear. So a lot will depend on whether the solar manufacturers can cut their costs further. And the subsidies are still, as you heard, fairly decent. They're pretty considerable. So it's not that people would lose money. It's that a lot of these companies would make less than they plan to on this subsidized solar. But advocates say, of course, it was supposed to be a transition. It was always supposed to be a transition to commercial, but that it's far too early to pull away the props, that Germany needs at least until 2013 to get its solar industry established and their costs brought down to a commercial level. It is re-raising the question about whether Germany, which, as you know, is a pretty cloudy country, is the right place, or have these subsidies just resulted in the building of a lot of solar panels in real suboptimum conditions.
Right. Okay. Margaret Ryan, thank you.